Hello, welcome back to the Unbearable Redz. My name's Carl, I'm your host today, and today we're going to be discussing the 5 biggest mistakes Barcelona made in the signing of Philippe Coutinho and how Liverpool got the better of that deal. So as we all know, Philippe Coutinho joined Barcelona January 2 years ago for 142 million. That money allowed us to be reinvested in the squad and become the team we are today, best team in the world. So what we're going to have a look at today is how that transfer has impacted Barcelona and how it's benefited Liverpool. And I'm going to go over the 5 biggest mistakes Barcelona made in regards to the Philippe Coutinho transfer. The first biggest mistake Barcelona made is they vastly overpaid for Philippe Coutinho. Now, in the summer of 2017, Barcelona were pursuing Philippe Coutinho from Liverpool. We dug our heels in, said no. Coutinho had a back injury during the August portion of the transfer window, resulted in missing a number of key games, particularly the Champions League qualifiers, but the transfer never happened, and he ended up playing for the first half of the season, and then in January that back injury came back again. Managed to play for Brazil, but back injury came back again and he couldn't play for us anymore. According to the CIS Football Observatory, who calculate the transfer values of players in Europe's Big 5 leagues, Coutinho was priced at 123 million at the time that Barcelona bought him from Liverpool. This suggests that Barcelona overpaid by about 19 million. At the time, that would have been the case, but judging about his output and what he's achieved and what's happening since, it appears that even if they just paid the 123 million, it was probably a bit more than the value that they actually got out of the transfer. He's subsequently gone on to play for Bayern Munich in the Bundesliga on loan, and they have an option to buy him, and they're not going to be exercising the option to buy him because he has not been performing. It just goes to show that after Liverpool, the only way is down, even if you're a player who was as good as Philippe Coutinho. The second biggest mistake that Barcelona made was signing Coutinho as a replacement for Andreas Iniesta after the World Cup winner left Barcelona after 22 years at the club. But Coutinho is a different player than the Spaniard. He was unable to fill the Iniesta-shaped hole that was left in the middle of Barcelona's midfield after he left. As we know, Iniesta moved on to Japan. He's done fairly well there. Coutinho just wasn't a good enough player or even the right player to fill those boots, because as we all know, Iniesta was one of the most important parts of Barcelona's team. There was Messi, there was Xavi, there was Iniesta. The three of them together were nigh unstoppable. After Iniesta left, Barcelona decided to replace him by effectively tapping up Coutinho, and it hasn't worked out for them. Joke's on you. The third biggest mistake Barcelona made was agreeing to the transfer premium clause, which is now in effect for players leaving Liverpool for Barcelona. What that basically means is we've lost numerous players to Barcelona over the years. Mascherano, Luis Suarez, Coutinho, a couple of others I think. Any fee that Barcelona put in for a Liverpool player would have to be increased by £100 million. 100 million euros on top of whatever they're offering to sign a Liverpool player in the next 3 years after signing Coutinho. That's effectively meant that Barcelona haven't been able to come in and take Mo Salah, Bobby Firmino. They haven't been able to take Sadio Mane, Gini Wijnaldum. They haven't been able to come in and take Virgil van Dijk, because whatever their transfer value is to Liverpool, take Gini Wijnaldum for example. If Barcelona wanted Gini Wijnaldum, they'd have to pay us at least 60 million for him, and then 100 million on top of that. If they want Mo Salah, you're looking at 150 million, that's 250 million. Bobby Firmino and Mane the same. The Coutinho transfer is basically just taking away a tried and tested shopping destination for Barcelona in Liverpool, because they were coming and taking our players and we got sick of it. And the Coutinho deal, the way it happened, the way they were tapping him up, the way he acted, has resulted in Liverpool putting this clause in, because we were just sick to death of the antics from Barcelona when it came to our players. Yeah, so that's the third biggest mistake they made, was agreeing to that clause, because it stopped them being able to improve their team by shopping at Liverpool Football Club, who are now the best team in the world. Without that clause, there's a good possibility that some of our best players could be Barcelona players now. And yeah, they're not, because Barcelona got greedy basically. The fourth biggest mistake Barcelona have made with Philippe Coutinho is in the loan deal that they've got with Bayern Munich. They haven't made the purchase compulsory, so Bayern Munich can pull the plug on that purchase anytime they want. They'll keep until the end of the season, but they're in no way obliged to buy the player. Loaning a player who's got a potential transfer fee of around 100 million in the future to go to one of your biggest European rivals, and not have them being required to go through with that transfer. All you're doing is potentially strengthening their team for a season they're going to be competing against you in Europe, and you're getting nothing out of it, because you're going to get a player you don't need and who hasn't done it in your shirt back at the end of the season after they've spent. But Barcelona could get knocked out of the Champions League by Bayern Munich this season. And all they'll have to show for it, for Coutinho going there, is him coming back knowing that he got further in the Champions League with Bayern Munich than he would have with Barcelona. That's all they've got out of this, because according to Sport Bild, Bayern Munich chief Karl-Heinz Rummenigge provided an update, which is, and this is a quote from the Mirror. I think he played well in some games, while in others he gave the impression of being a little inhibited. I don't know why. The fact is that we all believe he is an exceptional footballer. We see him in training and sometimes during competitions. Everyone tries to help him, the coach, his teammates. Now we have to hope in the crucial week starting now, he'll become an important factor in helping us win titles. But as things stand, it does appear as if Barcelona are going to be receiving Coutinho back, because rumours coming out through Bild again suggest that Bayern Munich are not going to be exercising that transfer fee at the end of the loan deal, which means that they're going to be lumbered with Coutinho for potentially another season. If you look at their front line, where Coutinho will play, they're stacked. They don't need Philippe Coutinho. That's why he's on loan, and they're going to have him back, and that's £100 million they're not going to be able to spend because they haven't made that transfer at the end of the loan, contractually obliged. And finally, number 5 is a mistake, but one that they've forced upon themselves, is Barcelona are probably going to have to sell Philippe Coutinho at a significant loss. Now, as we mentioned earlier, he was signed for 142 million January, a couple of windows ago, and they inserted a buyout clause of that contract of £355 million. The transfer to Bayern Munich at the end of the season after the loan was rumoured to be about 110 million, which they were banking on to be able to recoup some of the money that they paid for him and be able to then reinvest that in another player. But unfortunately, that's not going to be the case now. At the time of the transfer, Barcelona president Bartomeu told Spanish television that Coutinho is an excellent player and he has the coach's confidence. He has a contract with us and he will remain at the team unless another team meets his release clause. Things are a little different nowadays, with reports from Spain claiming that Barcelona would be willing to sell Philippe Coutinho for as little as 70 million, a staggering 285 million less than the Brazilian's release clause, which is quite frankly unbelievable. So when it comes to the Philippe Coutinho transfer, how do I feel about him potentially returning to Liverpool? Because that's been something that's been in the news recently. Myself personally, I don't want him back. I mean, I don't see where he fits in the team at the moment. Who are you taking out to make room for Philippe Coutinho? He's left Liverpool. He's not performed. He hasn't improved. If anything, he's regressed. And the 70 million that we'd have to pay for him just wouldn't be worth it. We could invest that in another player. We could get Kai Havertz. Kai Havertz is clearly a superior player. He's younger. It's one of them. Coutinho had his time at Liverpool and he left the way he did, faking the injury so he didn't have to play, basically going on protest, not treating Liverpool Football Club with respect. And now he's gone away. We've now become the best team in the world. Barcelona are not. They're not the team that they were. It appears the Barcelona board are panic buying with players. That's why they brought in the likes of Dembele. They brought in Malcolm and then sold them straight away. They brought Griezmann in. They're just buying everybody because they're shitting themselves that Lionel Messi's not going to be there in a few years, and what are they going to do then? And I'll tell you exactly what they're going to do. They're going to fucking fall apart. They'll never be a little team. They'll never end up like, for example, Deportivo La Coruña, who completely fell apart and ended up on our yo-yo team, going down to the Segunda division and coming back up and down, up and down. But without a player in Messi's class and calibre, they're just another good European side. That's all they are at this moment in time. Not at this moment in time. That's all they are going to be when Messi leaves. Messi is what's making them special, nothing else. And in regards to Coutinho himself, I hear a lot of Liverpool fans saying, but remember in Kiev, if we'd have had him then, that could have been the difference in that game, and it wouldn't have been the difference in that game, because if we hadn't sold Coutinho, we don't get Virgil, and we don't even make it to the final. If we hadn't sold Coutinho, we don't buy Alisson, and we don't go and win the Champions League the next season. If we don't sell Coutinho, we don't have the two linchpins of our team's defence. The two players that have probably improved us the most. We're not on the brink of a record-setting season this year without selling Philippe Coutinho, so no, I don't want him back. Him leaving, ultimately, you could argue it's the best thing that's happened to Liverpool in the past 10 years. Because him leaving's the catalyst for that change. Him leaving's gave us those funds to invest in the squad and go on and become the best team in the world. So in a way, Phil, thank you for being an absolute snake. Thank you for faking your injuries and forcing you to move to Barcelona. Your career's now circling the drain, and you're going to end up playing for Inter Milan. They sign every has-been going. Who else could you play for? Paris Saint-Germain. You can go and win some titles in France. Not that they mean anything. You get French titles and a box of cornflakes. Oh, do you know it would be a good, fantastic place for you to end up? Man United, because you're exactly the kind of player that Man United would love. A has-been who is going to demand huge wages. You'd be a perfect fit there. So yeah, that's my take on the Philippe Coutinho links back to Liverpool and how Barcelona went wrong in that transfer. If you disagree with anything I've said or you agree, leave a comment, let me know. I'd like to interact. Drop a like, subscribe if you've enjoyed what we're doing. We have a Twitter that'll be linked below. And as always, up the Reds.